Hey everybody, I hope you had an opportunity to watch the first video where we loaded a handgun. Now I want to talk about how to unload the handgun. It's important that you do this in a safe manner, and I want you to focus on relaxing. Take a deep breath. This is administrative. No matter if you're at the range, you have a qualification course or a training session, or if you're at home and you're about to put it in a lockbox or a safe, or you're just done for the day and you're a concealed carry permit holder and you're just done for the day, and you want to unload that weapon and secure it. So it's administrative. Take a deep breath. Don't rush. Think through the steps to make sure it's a safe unload. So we're going to assume this is on my hip, and again I have a sandbox over here. So the first thing you want to do before you take this weapon system out of the holster is have a plan. Okay, don't take it out of the holster in the kitchen and start walking to the bedroom. Get to a situation where you have an example, a safe area outside, or if you're inside and you're going to unload, make sure you use an exterior wall. If you have occupants in your house, your kids are in the house, you don't want to use an interior wall for obvious reasons, okay? The second thing you do when you grab that weapon system, touch index starts on the outside of the holster. So when I pull it out, my finger is going to remain on that slide, pointed in a safe direction, okay? So I have a hot gun in my hand, touch index, my finger never goes in that trigger. The first thing you need to do is remove the magazine well. It's very important, or magazine, it's very important that you do that. So in this case, I'm going to take the food out of it, which is the way I like to refer to it. And you can see there's a round in that magazine. And the next thing I'm going to do, keeping my finger touch index, is I'm going to rack this magazine several times. The first time I rack it, you're going to see the round, there should only be one round in there, come out of the chamber. But I'm going to rack it several times just to make sure there's nothing else in there. So now what I need to do, that round came out and I racked it several times. It's unlikely there's anything in there. I got no magazine, and I'm going to turn my weapon around so you can see what I'm doing on the other side of the gun. I'm going to take my thumb on that slide release, and as I go to lock it back, I'm pushing up on it. So the slide release locks that slide to the rear, and now you can see I have no magazine, and I'm going to visually and physically inspect that chamber to make sure there's nothing in there. So I'm going to look down in there, I'm going to look away, and then I'm going to rack it again and lock it back the same way. Now this should be a safe weapon. If you happen to be in a classroom environment, hopefully the instructor gave you directions prior to coming in the classroom. Depending on what type of class it is and the instructor, they may be comfortable with you coming into that classroom with a loaded weapon. It may be a class that there's no weapons handling at all. That will be appropriate. But in most cases, if you come in with a weapon, you should have no live ammunition, and your weapon system should be in this condition, okay? So my preference is when students come in the room, they come in the classroom like this. This is a visual indicator that this may be an unloaded weapon. I'm not going to take that for granted. If I needed to inspect this, or we needed to go live with these weapons in hands, I would re-inspect it, and I would have someone else re-inspect it, okay? After it was inspected a second time, this is my inspection as an instructor, how that weapon system should be placed on the table or the desk in front of the student. This is a visual indicator, again, for me, that not only do I have an empty magazine, but I have an empty weapon system, and all live ammunition should be secured outside that classroom. And redundant checks will be done if we went hands-on with breaking down the system, or if we went and did some retention drills, which is another level. But in any case, that's how you administratively unload a weapon. I want to go over one thing, and I'm going to show you the wrong way, and this happens quite a bit. And this is why you need to think systematically when you're unloading a weapon. So if, for example, and I've just charged that weapon, it's a hot gun, if, for example, I charge it first and I got that round out of the chamber, then I pull that magazine out, there's an assumption that this may be an empty weapon, and that's simply not the case. There was another round in there, and that's how accidents happen quite a bit. So make sure, proper environment, make sure it's a safe environment, make sure you have touch index before you take it out of the holster. When you take it out of the holster, the first thing you do is remove the magazine, remove the food. You rack the slide several times. You should visibly see a round come out. Let it fall to the ground, okay? Don't try to catch it, all right? Look away. Rack the slide again, and then visually and physically inspect that magazine well and that chamber and make sure it's safe. and that weapon should be in a safe condition. I hope everybody stays tactically conscious. Visit our website, www.peaceorhavoc.com, and stay tactically conscious. Have a good night.